So that was a pretty cool introduction, if I do say so myself. Well, everyone, we're going to be taking a look at Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U. This is the demo that was released on the eShop just, I believe it was, well, today, if you're watching this somehow when I recorded it. But anyways, it was just, I believe it was this last week, depending on when you actually see this. But anyways, it doesn't matter. The actual game comes out on October 24th, and it was really cool to see this nice little demo show up on the eShop just to get people a little bit excited about the game. So what you're seeing here is just a very brief tutorial. Now, I'm not the most amazing guy at Bayonetta, and I wasn't amazing at Devil May Cry, so the gameplay footage you're going to see isn't going to be the most wow footage ever, but I just wanted to let you all know what I thought, give you a little bit of my impressions, and just what I think of the overall game. It's got a very simple combat system, as you can see. However, it's the combo system that always made this game really stand out. You can chain so many different types of attacks together that it's just totally wild and crazy. So here we go. Now you get to see me go, oh yeah, like a badass. Take a look at the visuals. I guess we'll start there. Everything is super smooth. Everything looks great. This definitely looks nicer than the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 version of Bayonetta 1. Everything just looks that much sharper. And I know people will say, well, the Wii U is essentially just a PlayStation 3 and an Xbox 360. Well, I'm not here to debate any of that. I'm just saying that based on what I'm seeing here, this does look pretty damn nice. And check out these attacks. They're so wild. And that's the thing I really enjoyed about the first Bayonetta. And I guess, I don't know, we'll see what I'm going to do, whether or not I'm going to actually review the original Bayonetta and then part 2, because both are included, I believe, in the same package. You get one disc of Bayonetta 1 and then one disc of Bayonetta 2, but considering a lot of the games that I buy these days for the Wii U are digital, I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work. But anyways, going back to the gameplay here, you can see me very easily just chaining different attacks together, and it's pretty simple. It's nothing crazy. I'm playing this using the controller pad Pro, I think is what they called it. Anyway, whatever. So just look at this. I find this so ridiculous. I've always found this totally ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Right, not bad, right? Seriously, you're going around, this ship is like getting totally destroyed, you've got everything in the world coming to attack you, you got these demons that you're calling out to basically finish off a whole bunch of enemies, then you've got creatures coming out of the woodwork. It's just totally ridiculous, it's totally insane, it's totally mental, and that's why everybody likes this. And like I said, the combat system works great. Just take a look at this. I mean, I'm doing not too horribly, I guess. You'll see when I fight some of the bigger bosses that I get my little tuchus gets hit more than once, let's just put it that way. But I really do enjoy these style of games. This is right up my alley. When I think of like 3D action games, I always think of Devil May Cry, and last generation was Bayonetta, because Bayonetta was a really good game. Didn't unfortunately sell like hundreds of millions of copies. Did well, obviously, that's why we have here Bayonetta Part 2, but it's still an underground title, and a lot of people have actually been talking about Bayonetta 2 and how, oh, well, we don't expect it to sell well on the Wii U and this and that and blah, blah, blah. I really hope they're wrong. I really hope it does sell well, because it's a kick-ass action game, and, games like this deserve to sell well, and especially considering it's an exclusive and, Nintendo, I guess, helped with some of the financing of this. I'm hoping Nintendo fans as a whole sort of band together and give this one a shot. Look at this. It's totally crazy. It's just mental. And here I am pressing the wrong button. I'm like, what the hell's going on? That's one thing. I know I'm jumping all over the place in terms of what I'm talking about, but that's the beauty of videos like this. Hey, look at that. Silver medal. Not too bad, I guess. Anyways, I was using the Controller Pro or Controller Pad Pro or whatever the hell it is, and I really don't like the button placement on it. You've got the second analog stick on the right hand side is where the face buttons are on pretty much every other controller. It doesn't matter if it's a PlayStation brand controller or the Xbox branded controllers. it's weird, you know what I mean? Like, the right analog stick is always down in the middle portion of the controller, in the lower middle portion of the controller. So it's so odd to have buttons down there, and that's why I constantly make little mistakes here and there in terms of like jumping instead of hitting, say, like an attack button or something like that. I just move my hand ever so slightly, and that's pretty much it. So that's kind of crappy, if I do say so myself. One thing that I really like with the Wii U and the gamepad in particular is the fact that you can do the off-screen like gameplay. I really like that. And I know to some people it's not like whoop-de-doo, it's not a big deal, but for me it's actually a huge deal because I only have the one main television, and when my significant other comes home from work, that's sort of like quote-unquote our time, even though it's usually just her watching her favorite television shows. I can't be playing video games at that point in time, and that seriously slows me down in terms of content that I can record and just games that I want to play for fun. That's the one thing, though, that I've always loved with the Wii U ever since it came out, was the fact that I could just, give her access to the TV, and then I can go ahead and continue playing games like this just on the gamepad. And I'm still sitting beside her, we'll still be yakking and stuff like that, but I can continue to actually play games like this. And that's actually how I was able to review Hyrule Warriors so quickly, was simply because I got to play the game pretty much all the time. It was not a problem. I didn't need access to the television, and the same will be true for Bayonetta 2 and pretty much any other Wii U game that I can play where I don't need access to the television. And yes, I know that I don't get the same experience because I don't have the surround sound and I don't have all the pretty HD visuals, but still, whatever, it's still a great way to play these games, and they're still fun as hell. I like it. I really do. I'm a really, really big fan of that. And now, by now, if you've been watching the video and listening to me ramble on about a whole wide assortment of subjects, clearly you can see that Bayonetta 2 is just as crazy wild as the original. I know some people had mentioned that they were a little bit worried that maybe things would be toned down a tad because it was on the Wii U and, Nintendo had helped partner with them and etc., etc., etc. But I think you can see that's not the case. It's still just wild. There's still blood. There's still Bayonetta, like, basically almost in the nude every, couple of seconds because of her hair and her costume helping to form these gates that demons are sucking through or stuff like that. So, yeah. So, I'm really, really surprised by just how fluid this was. I hadn't played Bayonetta in quite some time. I actually imported it, believe it or not, on the PlayStation 3 way back when, and I hadn't played it in a long, long time, so I just totally forgot that this is a really fluid action game. You can just, create some really wild and crazy combinations once you get the hang of it. And what you're seeing here is actually the very first time I ever played the game, so it's not as if I spliced together the best gameplay footage. No, not at all. This is just, me getting a hang of it as I go on. And man, by the end of this, I was like, oh, this is so kick-ass. I can't wait to get my hands on the game. And that's actually very true. I'm very, very much looking forward to this. This basically jumped up to one of my most anticipated games of this holiday season. And that's funny because I really wasn't looking forward to anything this holiday season because I hadn't really played much. Been doing a lot of retro stuff and covering just a whole wide assortment of games that developers had sent over, or publishers rather. And so I really wasn't, too keen on anything for myself. But after playing this demo, man, I'm pretty hyped, especially considering, like I said, the fluidity. And the combo system is fantastic, and visuals are great. Everything is just awesome about this. Just look at this. It's so wild and crazy. Now we're going up against this massive demon, gonna punch him in the face. I love this when you get into your climax mode. You just go batshit crazy. Look at the health of this guy. It's wild, just like classic beat 'em up action, baby. And I get a little bit more into the hang with this after a while, because as you can see, every time you do that and it slows down, it means you successfully dodge an incoming attack. And at first it takes me a little while to get used to, like I'm sure it will with all of you. But after a while, man, I can just see playthroughs of this game on YouTube now, where people like will, you know, basically go through the entire game and not once get hit because they master the dodge mechanics and the combo system and everything like that. I will not be one of those people. This game will be extremely hard when it comes out and you get further on in it, and that's just exactly the way it was with the original Bayonetta, and I'm looking forward to that. I like a nice challenge, but I also like to be able to progress, so hopefully it doesn't kick my ass too much. Just from this really early demo, the game is completely finished, it's already out in Japan, but just from this little teaser here, I can see that this is really going to be up my alley. I like everything about this so far. I like the gameplay, love the graphics, the audio is great, although in the demo I noticed that the voice acting, the speaking rather, was extraordinarily low. I didn't actually touch any of the settings, so if you're wondering why you can't really hear anyone speak when there's cutscenes and whatnot, that's actually not me. That was just the demo had the voice acting crazy low. But the sound effects and everything else were perfect, and during gameplay like this, I mean, there's no problem. You can hear her clearly going like, huh, huh, and all that. So I don't know what was up with that, but whatever. Oh, something else, you only have access to the demo, I think it's 15 tries, if I'm not mistaken, which I don't understand why Nintendo does that. I find that's really silly. You should be able to play the demo as often as you want. It shouldn't really matter at all, but whatever. Alright guys, well, we're coming to the end of this. The whole video is only about 14 minutes or so, and I would like you to just sort of see the end of this without me blabbing. So thanks a lot for checking this video out, and let me know what you think of Bayonetta 2. Are you looking forward to its release? Have you tried the demo? Leave a comment and let me know. Take care guys, I'll see y'all in the next video.